I will start first with the law that you want from me to make a proper point, okay? And after this we will talk about this. It's better to concentrate. If we said before that I want to determine the velocity for an object. The velocity for any object equal what?
Displacement of time.
It's okay. So it's a displacement over time. That's the velocity. You can explain this. What does it mean that the velocity equal distance over time in the beginning? What does it mean distance over time?
Does velocity mean you take a specific distance in a specific time?
That's number one. So velocity can be defined by two terms, distance and time. There will be a covered distance, a specified distance in a time. Done?
No.
Okay? Number two. If we say that I'm having two velocities, velocity 1 and velocity 2 also, which would be equal displacement number 2 over time number 2. So I'm having two distance, two times. Velocity 1, the first distance divided by the first time. Also velocity 2, it's distance over time. So distance 2 for a specific time, 2 also. If we wanted to change or calculate or to find a relationship between the changing in the two velocities. For example, I am saying that there is a body in a position A. Start to move from position A reaching to position B. From A to B, it didn't start directly. There is a relationship between the moving
and the specific time
and the time, the specific time taken to cover this object. Yes? Okay. From A to B. If we say that velocity 1 or the body at velocity 1 or the position 1 was equal 0, what does it mean that velocity 1 equals 0? There is no covering distance in this time. As time passes, there is no covering distance. Number 2, the body when we start to move will start to cover a distance in a specified time. Covering the distance in a specified time, this will achieve a new velocity. New distance covered with a new time. This in physics called acceleration. When you start to move to cover a distance in a specified time, but the covering distance change your velocity. Now you are talking about your acceleration. You are accelerate to change this distance. Done? You understand?
Yeah.
So we will get a new expression for such a relationship, which is called acceleration. And they say that the acceleration, to find my acceleration, how did I accelerate from position A to position B? I will find the differences in my velocity, which is called delta V. Delta V, as my time passes, as the time passes, I will calculate the change in my velocity as time passes. That's the concept. Velocity 1 to velocity 2. And new velocity. As time passes, so it's over time. That's a new expression in physics called acceleration. You will accelerate, change your velocity. Accelerate and change. As time passes, of course. So there is a new term here, which is the time. Number 2. Delta V will be represented by two terms. It's delta V. What does it mean delta in physics? It's a change.
changing in velocity or
Exactly.
distance.
Changing in what?
Velocity.
In velocity. So maybe we can find it with velocity 2 minus velocity 1 over the time. Yes, because the change in the velocity will be the differences in the two velocities. Whatever. Maybe velocity number 1 will be bigger. Maybe velocity number 2 will be bigger. I don't care about this. Just find your velocity number 2 minus or subtract it from velocity number 1. As the time passes, you will find the acceleration that you are moving with. And the measuring unit for that, it is meter per second square. We will reach to that point. But now, acceleration is determined by V2 minus V1 over time.
Can V1 be larger than V2 or smaller than it? If it was with minus the answer, how?
Yes, if you mean minus and over the time, so the final result will be minus.
Yes.
Yeah, because the sign here is not for the result. For example, if I said the acceleration equal negative 2 meters per second square, this means that the car less than 0 velocity. That's completely insane. The minus or the sign represent the direction for the acceleration.